Yeah, it's gonna be 11. About 10 and a half. Try 10 and a half. Yeah.
Well, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Next Stop Auction Block. I'm Katie Kaufman, and as always, alongside of me is the manager of our purebred division, Mr. Jason Barber, and we're here to tell you all about what's going on here at Superior Livestock and Superior Productions. As many of you know, our purebred auction season is truly coming to an end, and Jason will be previewing just one last auction until we hit the commercial auction season all summer before we get back into purebred this fall.
That's right. Actually, we've got one more auction. It's a Hereford auction. I was also just at a Hereford auction, the Larson Hoffman top sale.
Oh, that's right.
It was there in Clifton, Texas, which is close to Meridian, so only about an hour and a half from here in Fort Worth. But it was a great sale. They sold a lot of really nice looking Hereford pairs and a few show heifer prospects and everything. Larson pulled Herefords, running L Ranch. Really great operation. They've been in the Hereford business for a pretty good while, I believe. The other people that were in it, Hoffman Herefords, they're also a client of ours. They've got a sale every fall with this. I've known Jason Hoffman and his family for a long time, back when he used to live in California.
Oh, we like California. I like Californians.
You like California. He moved to Nebraska here just a couple years ago and moved their operation out there. And I know he's trying to build up to have a big Hereford bull sale up there, but just a really great family. His wife also very actively involved in their ranching operation. She also makes hats, some really good hats, because I know I've got one or two from her.
Really? Oh, that's very neat. Well, I have to say I was going to be a potential buyer on that auction because they were selling their ranch mascot, their miniature donkey named Bert, at the front of the sale. And as much as I twisted the arms, I couldn't get him bought.
Well, he was even in the price range that you're wanting.
Oh, I know, but I just don't think my apartment complex would really understand having a miniature donkey in my apartment.
Not until they saw him.
I know, but how fun was that? Well, this weekend, like you said, since we are winding down the purebred auction season, on Saturday, I was actually on the golf course all afternoon, which was totally fun. It's not too hot yet to still be indoors, throughout the day, but I was there for a benefit charity event benefiting Wipe Out Kids Cancer, a nonprofit organization, and we raised quite a bit of money, so that was pretty exciting.
That is good. And since the auction was actually that I was at was here close to Fort Worth, I actually had Sunday off to go play some golf.
Oh, is that where this tan's coming in?
I got a little bit of sun yesterday for sure, but yeah, it's definitely fun to actually have some time off, and now that we're at the very, very, very tail end of our purebred sale season, I had some time to get. I know,
and just before too long, we're all going to be on the road once again the 1st of June for our commercial auction season. Like many of you know, our first stop is Council Bluffs, Iowa. Then we go to Steamboat Springs, Colorado. We'll then do a complete 180 and shift gears to Winnemucca, Nevada, go up to the high desert there with some of our great reps, including Rep Jim Davis. And it's completely fun. We take over the whole town, Winnemucca, Nevada. If you blink, you're going to miss it on that interstate, but we have truly a great time. Then we then go down to Sheridan, Wyoming, and then wind up in Denver, Colorado for our Labor Day auction. So before you know it, we're all going to be packing our suitcases once again.
You sound like you know it from heart.
Yeah, I know. I absolutely do. But we want to certainly have you stay with us all throughout Auction Block today because we do have a very special guest on the program, Miss Pam Minnick. Many of you know her as the host of The American Rancher on RFD TV. But Jason and I are going to visit with Pam and get to know her a little bit better, how she grew up, where she grew up, and all of the accolades that she truly has to her name. Not only is it rodeo, but you'll be truly impressed with what a diverse woman she is and truly the impact that she has made in the city of Fort Worth.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a very, very interesting piece on this week's show. Very excited to have her coming up here soon. And I guess we'll go ahead and round out the show by giving a little preview of Star Lake Cattle Ranch's auction coming up here on Saturday, May 19th.
Right, and just in between that, I do just want to say about the Kids on the Ranch DVD, once again, you will truly be excited about this piece, and we want to thank you all so much for joining us on Auction Block, and don't go anywhere because when we come back, we will be visiting with Miss Pam Minnick. Stay with us.
I've got some customers that have cattle ready all the time, and We were trying to find a faster way to clean out their traps and be able to sell their cattle for them. And we listed some on the country page, and they already had a reputation of selling cattle. And some guys came on and bought them, and said, hey, that worked pretty good.
The country page is really good for being able to take advantage of upswings in the market. Just being able to sell our cattle or getting them on available for sale immediately, because the market changes so fast nowadays.
Usually within, I'm going to say within an hour, I can call the office and I can have those cattle up. The cattle are highly represented and they're highly visible on the country page.
And the more people that see it, the better off that we're going to be able to market our cattle better, to get a better price for them and get the fairest price for our cattle mainly.
So far so good, and I'm glad Superior added the country page to one of their ways of marketing cattle.
Join Superior Livestock Auction all summer long at our biggest cattle auctions of the year. Mark your calendars now. June 7th and 8th will be in Council Bluffs, Iowa for our Corn Belt Classic, followed by the largest family reunion in the cattle business, Week in the Rockies in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, June 25th through the 29th. Let's not forget about our good friends in our western region as we take over the town of Winnemucca, Nevada for a full week of fun, July 23rd through the 27th. How about taking a trip to the Bighorn Mountains in beautiful Wyoming? Superior Livestock will be having our annual Bighorn Classic in Sheridan, Wyoming, August 13th through the 17th. Lastly, our Labor Day auction will wind up the summer season from Denver, Colorado, September 5th through the 7th. For more information, log on to superiorlivestock.com, and we'll see you this summer. Well, welcome back to Auction Block. Like Jason and I said at the top of the show that we were going to have a very special guest here on Auction Block, and it's no one other than Miss Pam Minnick. Pam, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure. Of course, anything for RFD or Rural TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Like most of you know, Pam has been the host of The American Rancher on RFD TV. I think it's going into its 8th season this year.
And everywhere I go, people say, I watch you every week on RFD TV and The American Rancher, so hopefully they've learned as much as I have.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jason is someone that certainly spearheads a lot of the content behind the program with a lot of his seed stock operations and his producers.
I do, and one thing that's consistent on The American Rancher is whenever that gets brought up, everyone talks about how great of a job Pam does and how professional, and just on and on and on. But for anyone that's seen this show, they know exactly what we're talking about, because it is definitely a first-class show, and it actually gets some of the absolute top ratings on RFD.
Right. And Pam, as many people do know at home, you are no one new to television, the sport of rodeo, and you're a true cowgirl at heart. And so when they were thinking of The American Rancher some time ago, they thought you were the perfect fit, and you still are the perfect fit.
Well, thank you. I really enjoy that show. My background, of course, is in rodeo, and I wasn't as familiar with seed stock and a lot of the commercial cattle operations, but I have actually become quite an expert, if I do say so myself.
Well, you can fool anyone because you're just going a mile a minute on that show, and it's great. But talking about your childhood, contrary to what some people may believe, you didn't grow up on a ranch. Talk about how you did grow up and get involved in rodeo.
I actually was born in Las Vegas, Nevada, and of course now it's a mecca of rodeo, but back then it wasn't. I got my first horse when I was 9 years old. My parents actually did have some land, even though they didn't utilize it. And in Las Vegas, 5 acres is a big spread, let me tell you. And so I got my first horse, my sister and I did, and learned actually how to ride bareback at first. Finally got a saddle and started competing in junior rodeos, Gymkhanas first and then junior rodeos. Went on to become the high school rodeo champion. 4-H was a big part of my life, and I know that we spotlight a lot, not only on The American Rancher, but the things that Superior Productions does, 4-H and FFA. But if it wasn't for 4-H, I might still be beating that horse in the backyard. But as it was, I went on to become high school rodeo champion, women's pro rodeo champion, and I still team rope today. I mean, this weekend I roped.
Well, we have to talk about the story of how you even got your horses. It's a pretty interesting story.
There was going to be this themed hotel in Las Vegas, which there are now, lots of themed hotels, Treasure Island, Paris, Luxor, things like that. But back then, a while ago, there weren't that many themed hotels there, and there was going to be one called Vegas World that was going to be a Western-themed entertainment venue. And they had this matched pair of Palominos pulling these horses up and down, pulling this wagon up and down the strip to promote Vegas World. and it never went off the ground. But my mother, who was very gregarious, and I think that's where I got my outgoing personality.
No.
Yeah, I know, it comes as a shock to both of you. My mother had made friends with these people and actually bought the horses for us, paid $300 a piece for Rebel and Rio, and to my knowledge, they had never done anything but pull a wagon, but they went ahead and became, through the instruction that we got in 4-H, went ahead to become great horses in pleasure and speed horse events. And they weren't the horses that we won on later. We traded up a little bit, but they were great horses to learn on.
And you also have a sister too that loves to ride, but you obviously took it to the next level with all your rodeo and everything.
I'm a little bit like that in everything I do. Jason and I were talking about golfing earlier. I got a set of golf clubs, and the next thing I knew, I was going for club champion and on the board of directors of the country club. So I don't do anything halfway.
Yeah. Well, after 4-H FFA, you went on to compete in more rodeo events, and you actually ran for numerous queen contests, and so many folks know you as a former Miss Rodeo America. Talk about how that transformed your entire career path.
It really did. Being Miss Rodeo America really set my foundation for being in broadcasting. But the way that I even got into the Miss Rodeo America pageant, I had gone into some high school rodeo pageants and Little Britches rodeos and never did very good because I didn't have a pleasure horse. And so much of it, as you know, being a former rodeo queen, is that horsemanship and having that great horse. Well, I had a barrel horse, and when they set the pattern and you had to do a rollback on the opposite side of the tire, my horse turned it like it was a barrel, But then they had the ranch where I rode horses after school hosted the competition, the horsemanship competition for Miss Rodeo America. I, being a high school rodeo champion, couldn't imagine that any girl didn't know how to tie a goat. And in those days, Katie, you had to tie a goat in the pageant.
I know, we don't do
and
that.
So don't do that anymore.
I even did goat tying rodeo.
And so I said to my boss, I cannot believe that these girls don't know how to tie a goat. And he goes, if you think it's so easy, why don't you enter? So the next year I entered the Miss Eldorado, which is our Las Vegas Rodeo Queen pageant. I won that in May. September I won Miss Rodeo Nevada, and November I won Miss Rodeo America.
All in 1 year.
All in 1 year.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I wasn't that overly prepared. I was very spontaneous, and I think it was fresh for the judges.
Wow, I don't even think in this day and age if you could do 3 contests in 1 year and just knock them all out like that. So that was good.
It might be a little more competitive now.
No. Well, after Miss Rodeo America, that obviously gave you more of a springboard to acting. You were a stunt woman, and you went on, just kept going through all the rodeo career as well as broadcasting on the TNN network and ESPN.
Yes, we did. When they first started doing some rodeos on TV, they said they wanted Larry Mahan to do the interviews. Well, that would be like Michael Jordan interviewing amateur basketball players or high school basketball players. So Larry, obviously when he would ask a guy something, he would be like, they would just clam up, they couldn't answer him. So they said, about television, you've been interviewed a lot as Miss Rodeo America, you can do that. So ignorance is bliss. In 1976, I did my first rodeo on TV live with Donnie Gay and Larry Mahan. So you don't know what you don't know, so you just attack it and do it, and 30 years later, here I am.
Oh my God, and more than 1,500 hours on broadcast hours, and now you even host and MC the Rose Parade on RFD TV and Equifest.
Equifest, the Tournament of Roses. I've done many specials for RFD TV and Rural TV. Patrick Gotch has been, I guess, sold on my ability to bring equine events to his viewers. And so we're going to do a draft horse show, you and I.
Yes, that'd be great.
There's also a lot of other things. I think we're getting the signal that it's time to go to commercial. Because I'm the professional.
Yeah, you're going to go the whole show.
On task.
Okay, well, don't go anywhere, folks, because when we come back, we're going to visit more with Pam Minnick. Stay with us. Join Superior Livestock on Friday, June 22nd at noon Central for our Superior Dairy Auction, featuring dairy replacement heifers and springers on RFD TV. Do you have dairy cattle that you'd like to sell, or are you in the market to buy? Contact Superior Livestock today at 800-422-2117 or learn more about our upcoming auctions at superiorlivestock.com and market your cattle the Superior way. Well, welcome back to Auction Block. Next to me is Miss Pam Minnick. We've just been visiting with her about who she is and how she grew up and how she even made it all the way to all of her years in TV as well as rodeo and Miss Rodeo America. And just the list can keep going on and on and on.
Get your coffee because this is going to be really boring.
No, but we do want to transition just a little bit from everything that you've done, especially in your broadcast world, but also you're the marketing director for the largest honky tonk in the world, Billy Bob's Texas.
You know, my husband, when I first moved here, my husband worked here at Billy Bob's, and then he went away for a few years and then came back as one of the owners. And I was coming back from doing a television show in Idaho for ESPN, and he said, honey, I fired the advertising agency. You know about TV, you can do that. Well, it didn't come with a set of instructions, but for the last 20 years, I've been the marketing director there. And Billy Bob's has won 12 Club of the Year awards, so I guess we're doing something right. But it's a fun thing. It's not like going to work. Every week has its own challenge. You know, whether you're promoting Ronnie Millsap or Ronnie Dunn or ZZ Top or Willie Nelson. Every week there's something really exciting going on. I know that we see both of you there a lot.
Yes, we love Billy Bob's Texas, and I think even you've had Ringo Starr in there, and that's pretty neat.
You know, you have to pinch yourself when you talk. Ringo Starr and I actually talked about Western shirts. He's a huge vintage Western shirt collector. Who knew?
Yeah. Well, in addition to all of that, I do have to just talk about you a little bit, and I know that you won't say all these things, but I have to run through just a few of your accolades here in just the past year or decade or so. In 1992, you were the Coca-Cola Woman of the Year in Pro Rodeo. You have also been known as the first woman to ever announce a pro rodeo, and that was the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo.
Pretty big one, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were the recipient of the Lane Frost Award for the enhancement of the sport of rodeo. And in 1999, you did receive the Tad Lucas Award, which I knew was very dear to your heart, for the National Cowboy Hall of Fame. In 2000, you were inducted into the National Cowgirl Hall of Fame. And in 2004, you were inducted into the Texas Cowboy Hall of Fame. And just recently, about 5 or 6 years ago, you were named the Great Woman of the State of Texas. And that's not just the Western culture. That's not just rodeo. That is businesswoman for the entire state of Texas.
That's right.
That's
I got
pretty
this
awesome.
little magazine here, 40 Women Who Run Our City. Yeah.
And there you are.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome.
That's awesome.
In addition to all these other pictures, you were also instrumental in the Super Bowl being here just a few years ago, and you're on 14 board of directors here.
You know, my mom was a big volunteer, and she instilled that in us when we were very young. And in fact, it's one of the things that I say to people is to get involved in volunteering, because really you get back more out of it than you put into it.
Oh, I can't believe it. 14 board of directors, and one of them is the president of the Friends of the Fort Worth Herd, which I have the opportunity to sit on with you, and that's just a great nonprofit.
It is, and if it weren't for people like us and those boards that we sit on, a lot of these great things like the Fort Worth Herd wouldn't carry on, and I mean, it does preserve our Western heritage.
Yeah, my goodness. Well, we just can't thank you enough for being on, and I know Jason wants to visit with you just a little bit more about the seed stock operators that you get to talk about each week.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're just talking about what we're going to talk about as far as content on the show and everything, and since we've used the show primarily as a base to really talk more about our seed stock operations, you really get to be familiar with a bunch of our really top-end seed stock producers, and I know one of them that you just got done doing was Star Lake Cattle Ranch,
Right.
And we've got quite a few, and it's always amazing hearing the stories and seeing how these people market cattle throughout the country, and they all have a little bit different technique, but it comes together. And excuse me, but this American Rancher show is just such a great marketing piece for them, and the results that our clients get from advertising and having their story told on this is just unparalleled when it comes to selling cattle in their auctions.
Well, you know, I hear that from the people that whose ranches that we go to. I hear how great it was for them. They all say, you know, we've been doing auctions, some of them for 20, 30, 40 years, and they've never had the response for their auctions as they've had when they've showcased their ranch on the American Rancher, and of course selling through Superior, because it's such a superior way to market it. I mean, they get buyers from all over the world. But it's been so great for me learning the stories. You mentioned Star Lake. The Bloom family has just got such a great story about being involved and really broadening not just a sale, but what they do with their juniors and their show end of it. and the scholarships that they give. I mean, that really lays such a foundation for the next generation of kids to be involved in the Hereford breed. And we see that in various breeds. The very first show that I remember doing on the American Rancher back 8 years ago, like you mentioned, we went to Montana and did a story with George Franks and the Fairview Ranch. And this was a man that didn't know, he knew two things about cattle. One end eats, and the other end lets go of it. And, but what he had was a series of pool halls, and he served burgers and steaks at his pool halls and couldn't get consistent good beef and said, I'm going to raise my own. And that was the very first story that we did on the American Rancher. And people still talk about those stories, how we get into the people and learn behind the scenes of these people that have these ranches, and many of them got into the business. They are not second, third, and fourth generation cattle ranchers. They got into it for various reasons, and their passions are parallel though. Everybody that's in the cattle industry has a passion for the livestock and the land.
That's right. On top of just having some of our absolutely top seed stock producers, you've also featured Nolan Ryan on the show,
right,
the Bellamy brothers, and other celebrities as well.
Right. You know, I think that people are surprised at the level of people that are involved in the cattle industry. You know, Nolan Ryan has been huge, and what is it, Beef Masters is his breed of choice. He told a story on our special with him that his first calves that he had, he kept in the garage at his home in Alvin, Texas, much to the chagrin of his parents. He had to clean out that garage. You know? So, you know, and the Bellamy brothers, they're in Florida, rich, you know, country for cattle.
And even Lucas Oil too. I know we've talked about them
right,
a little bit too, but like you said, it comes from all walks of life. But like you said, and I think that is such a true testament to so many of our customers on Superior, is that they all have the same passion for the beef industry.
So watch the American Rancher Sundays, Mondays, and Tuesdays on RFD TV.
That's right.
That's right.
Well, Pam, thank you again so much for joining us today. I know Jason and I were so excited when you agreed to come on, so we really appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, folks, and don't go anywhere. When we come back, we're going to give you another special about kids and ranching. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Pam Minnick, host of The American Rancher here on RFD TV. Each week, we are privileged to bring you the stories from the people and places that make ranching an American lifestyle. Come with us to see both the heritage and the enterprise of livestock production across our great nation. Thanks again to all of you for watching The American Rancher.
I've got some customers that have cattle ready all the time, and we were trying to find a faster way to clean out their traps and be able to sell their cattle for them. And we listed some on the country page, and they already had a reputation of selling cattle. And some guys came on and bought them, and said, hey, that worked pretty good.
The country page is really good for being able to take advantage of upswings in the market. Just, you know, being able to sell our cattle or getting them on available for sale immediately, because the market changes so fast nowadays.
Usually within, I'm going to say within an hour, I can call the office and I can have those cattle up. The cattle are highly represented and they're highly visible on the country page.
And the more people that see it, the better off that we're going to be able to market our cattle better, to get a better price for them and get the fairest price for our cattle mainly.
You know, so far so good, and I'm glad Superior added the country page to one of their ways of marketing cattle.
Well, welcome back to Auction Block. I have to say, Jason, having Pam Minnick on the show was pretty fun, and I know that a lot of folks don't really understand that she didn't grow up on a ranch, or she wasn't raised a cowgirl, but that sure didn't stop her from achieving all of her goals and dreams.
She was still, she said, really active in 4-H, which, you know, it's kind of surprising seeing that she didn't grow up on a ranch, but
right,
she did get a horse at a pretty early age, and, you know, the rest is history.
Yeah.
I mean, she's definitely got a very long, distinguished list of accomplishments.
My goodness, and not a lot of people can say that their first horse was from an old act off the Vegas Strip.
No, that's for sure.
But, and you know, since I moved here just a little over a year ago to Fort Worth, I've been able to visit and hang out with Pam often. And when I found out that she was on 14 board of directors throughout the city.
I don't even know how anybody has time for that. But
I don't either. It completely blew me away. Not only that, but she's a marketing director, like she said, at Billy Bob's Texas. And for folks that don't really understand what all goes into Billy Bob's Texas, it's the largest venue, at least.
The world's largest honky tonk.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that keeps her busy. But she is certainly one that does give back to her community, not only in the professional sport of rodeo, but also for the entire city of Fort Worth. So that was truly truly nice for her to come on Auction Block, that's for sure. Transitioning from Pam, although like we said she didn't grow up on a ranch, that didn't stop her from achieving her dreams of being a cowgirl. I have some dear friends out on the West Coast right outside of Bakersfield, California, that actually came up and made a movie about kids on the ranch, and it's
Your friends produced this too?
Right, yes, and they are. All the kids are in the program. It's a 10-minute long documentary about the day-to-day operations that go into kids on the ranch, and whether it's vaccinating, gathering the cattle, shipping them, branding, so on and so forth. And
I'm interested to see it.
Yeah, I know. It's very, very compelling. A lot of the elementary schools are utilizing it in their classrooms. It does come along with a study guide, so if you are interested in this DVD, you can purchase it at KernCountyWomen.org. But before we watch it, I do want to visit with you just a little bit. You grew up on your ranch right outside of Amarillo, and just talk about the differences that you saw maybe in some of your friends that grew up in the city versus what you had the opportunity to do when you were young.
Well, really, I think the first thing that always comes to mind, excuse me, when talking about when talking about growing up on a ranch is just all the responsibility that goes into it. Get up at 6 in the morning, go feed everything before you go to school. And you come home and there's so much going on. And just growing up on a ranch, there's always something to do. You don't get free weekends really growing up because, on the weekends was when we'd gather cows and we would vaccinate and we would do everything else. And it's such a full-time job all the time, but it's responsibilities, I think, really the key to growing up on the ranch and everything.
Right, and as you'll see in this DVD, they say that their pets and animals and everything they feed, they get to eat even before you get to eat and go back in the house and shower before you have to get ready for school. So now, folks, we do want to share with you this great DVD that was produced by some very young kids in California. This is Kids on the Ranch.
Have you ever wondered about what life is like for kids who live on a cattle ranch? We would like to introduce you to some kids who live and work on ranches here in California. These kids and their families raise cattle to provide beef for people to eat here in our country and around the world. They are going to share their world with you.
I am Caden. I am 10 years old and I am in the 5th grade.
I'm Brent. I am 13 years old and in the 8th grade. I am Abby. I'm 15 years old and a sophomore in high school. We are the 4th generation of our family to live and work on our ranch.
My name is Drew. I am 14 years old and a high school freshman.
My name is Ethan. I'm 12 years old and in the 7th grade. Our family has a small ranch and we are all neighbors.
My name is Jacob and I am 17 years old and a senior in high school. A typical day for us starts between 5:30 and 6 in the morning.
We do the same stuff city kids do, but we have extra chores to take care of every morning too.
After we get dressed, make our beds, and brush our teeth, we have to take care of the animals before we do anything else. They eat breakfast before we do most of the time.
There are dog kennels to clean, horses to feed, and stalls to muck.
Hay to load, and cattle to feed.
Eggs to collect, waters to check,
and sometimes an orphaned calf to feed.
For those of us in high school, we have a 35-minute bus ride to the nearest high school.
For the rest of us, school starts after breakfast. We do our lessons at home. Our school work can take from 4 to 6 hours each day.
Living on a cattle ranch gives us the opportunity to experience new things all year long. Every season brings with it new aspects of life and different types of work to be done.
In the fall, a new year of school starts for us too, and it is a very busy time of year on a ranch.
In early September, we are busy gathering cattle off of summer pastures in the local mountains. We bring them to pastures at lower elevations to take care of them and protect them from predators during the colder months of the year. We also wean last year's calves.
At the end of September, we compete at our county fair with our 4-H and FFA projects. Sometimes we show animals and sometimes we cook or bake or create things. It's always fun, but especially when you win a ribbon.
The cows begin calving in late September. They finish about Christmas.
Normally, the raining season starts in the fall and lasts through the spring. Weather can affect what we do each day and our success during the year, but we count the rain as a blessing.
Rain is very important when it comes to the food you eat. The winter and spring rains provide water necessary for the seeds in the soil to germinate and the plants and grass to grow.
Farmers need rain to grow their crops of vegetables, fruit and grains, for breads and cereals. For ranchers, the rain is important because it grows grass that cows eat for food.
As humans, we cannot eat grass because our bodies cannot digest the cellulose in the stems.
The cool thing about cows is that their stomach has 4 parts, and because of that, they can eat the grass and it helps them grow. They turn grass into beef.
So all winter, we work around the weather. In December and January, we start the branding season, which runs through March or April.
Brandings are an important part of ranching that has taken place for hundreds of years.
Neighboring ranchers arrive early in the morning to help each other with the hard work.
Cattle are gathered and sorted, separating the cows and calves in different pens.
We mark the calves for identification purposes with brands and sometimes ear tags. We do this to protect them from theft and to identify calves that need extra care.
The calves are vaccinated to prevent life-threatening illnesses, just like children are vaccinated when they're little.
The best part about brandings are the roping,
Seeing our friends.
And the food.
Welcome back to Auction Block, and now we'll see more of kids on the ranch.
Whether it's deep pit roast, tri-tip, steak or ribs, beef is always what's for dinner at our brandings.
Did you know that beef has many of the good things your body needs for energy and good health? Among other things, beef is an excellent source of zinc, iron, and protein. Yeah, it has zip.
Zinc helps your body heal from injuries, build muscle, and it strengthens your body to fight infections. Zinc also helps you think, remember, and pay attention. It is important to your sense of smell and taste too.
Iron helps red blood cells carry oxygen throughout the body. If someone isn't getting enough iron, they might feel tired, sore all over, score lower on problem-solving tests, or run out of energy sooner on the playing field. And did you know that iron from beef is much more easily absorbed than iron from vegetable sources?
Protein is a source of energy for your body. Protein builds and repairs your body's muscle, bones, blood, and organs.
The protein in beef is a complete protein, which means it has all the essential amino acids your body needs. Amino acids are like building blocks, or Legos, which your body needs to build and repair tissue.
Beef is also one of the best sources of B vitamins. The B vitamins help make energy and set it free when your body needs it. B6 helps your nervous system stay healthy, helps your body fight infections, and builds protein you need to grow.
Beef can be found on the food pyramid under the category of meat and beans. It is considered a power food because it is loaded with nutrients for the small amount of calories it contains.
We love beef. It tastes good and is good for you.
Once our brandings are completed, spring rolls around and is full of new life, green grass, beautiful wildflowers, and a new collection of ranch chores.
The horses have their foals, and it's time to start preparing the cattle to move up to their summer pastures. By rotating the cattle from the lower range near our home to the higher elevations in the forest for the summer, we are not only helping the cattle, but we are caring for and conserving the land as well.
This pasture rotation allows more grass to grow, helps maintain plentiful water supplies, sustains healthy forest growth, and protects the ground from erosion.
Before the cattle are taken to the mountains for the summer, we check for calves that were born late and cows with missing ear tags. We also vaccinate all the cows to help keep them healthy.
Cattle drives still exist today. It takes 2 days to push the cattle about 15 miles from the headquarters to their summer pastures.
These cattle drives have become some of our favorite ranching traditions, but they are hard work too.
We start before the sun comes up and ride all day. We are careful to go slow so the cattle don't get tired.
We must pay close attention to the cattle, and we cannot let any calves turn around and go back to the corrals where we start. We have to work hard to keep the herd together and watch closely for any cattle that are having difficulty with the long trip. It is our responsibility to be sure the cattle stay healthy.
The weather on these cattle drives is unpredictable, but rain or shine, cold or hot, wet or dry, it's always a good day to see the cattle settling in lush grass for the summer ahead.
During the summer, there isn't as much work to do with the cattle, but there's plenty of maintenance work to do that is necessary to sustain the land on both our ranches and the mountain pastures.
We fix fence to protect private property and the meadows and streams in our mountain forests.
We build and repair corrals and train young horses.
We work on our projects for the county fair in the fall.
We ride in parades, go to rodeos, and sometimes compete with our horses.
We repair springs and other water sources.
We fix more fence.
And we try to stay cool however we can.
When summer is over, we start the gathering season and the cycle begins all over again.
Throughout the year, our hard work contributes to the success of the ranch.
We take the place of hired hands by doing the work, and that saves the ranch money.
We learn how to work hard, work as a team, follow instructions, and be responsible for our actions.
But if someone gets careless, it can affect everything we do. One gate left open can undo an entire day's work.
But no matter what we're doing, our life is full of adventure.
Every day is an opportunity to see animals in their natural habitat. Our hard work in caring for the land and water sources provides a safe habitat for many different species. On any given day, we might see
Deer,
bobcats,
Wild turkeys,
raccoons,
coyotes,
hawks,
and eagles.
Even though it seems like we do a lot of work, our life is really a lot of fun.
When we're not working or doing our school lessons, we also get to
build forts,
climb rocks,
dig for treasure,
go hiking, play on swings,
go fishing,
and play with puppies,
ride bikes,
swim in whatever water we can find,
and play in the mud,
ride our horses for fun,
go exploring,
and basically whatever our imaginations dream up.
All in all, our life is never boring and always full of excitement and surprises.
We are proud to be a part of our nation's rich ranching heritage.
As members of the cattle industry, we consider it a privilege to bring a quality beef product from our ranches to your tables. So the next time you eat a hamburger or a steak, we hope you remember us and think about a different way of life for other kids like you. Until we meet again, may the grass be green, your horse be sure-footed, and may you always ride on happy trails.
Well, I sure hope that all of you at home enjoyed the DVD about kids on the ranch. I have to say, I know the Gridesdale family pretty well, and I was so honored to be able to play that for everyone on Auction Block. I'm so proud to say that I know them because it was a great DVD and such a true example of what kids really do through their day-to-day operations.
Great testament to what it really is like growing up on a ranch.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you had plenty of experience doing that there in Channing, Texas.
More than I wanted sometimes.
All right, folks, well, don't go anywhere. Auction Block. We'll be right back, and we will be previewing upcoming auctions. Stay with us. Join Superior Livestock Auction all summer long at our biggest cattle auctions of the year. Mark your calendars now. June 7th and 8th will be in Council Bluffs, Iowa for our Corn Belt Classic, followed by the largest family reunion in the cattle business, Week in the Rockies in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, June 25th through the 29th. Let's not forget about our good friends in our western region as we take over the town of Winnemucca, Nevada for a full week of fun, July 23rd through the 27th. How about taking a trip to the Bighorn Mountains in beautiful Wyoming? Superior Livestock will be having our annual Bighorn Classic in Sheridan, Wyoming, August 13th through the 17th. Lastly, our Labor Day auction will wind up the summer season from Denver, Colorado, September 5th through the 7th. For more information, log on to superiorlivestock.com, and we'll see you this summer.
Hello, I'm Pam Minnick, host of The American Rancher here on RFD TV. Each week, we are privileged to bring you the stories from the people and places that make ranching an American lifestyle. Come with us to see both the heritage and the enterprise of livestock production across our great nation. Thanks again to all of you for watching The American Rancher.
Well, welcome back. We do have just a few auctions coming up here in the later part of this month that we certainly want to visit about. I know that all of you are very well aware of Mr. Monty Souls, the manager of Star Lake Cattle Ranch, who we had on the show just a few weeks ago. But their auction's just right around the corner. It's Saturday, May 19th.
That's right. This is the last seed stock sale of spring season.
You keep saying that, but we keep having one.
This is it. This is it. But it's the third Saturday. It's May 19th. It'll be a great sale. It'll be really a two-day auction. Friday, they'll have their junior futurity, and they'll have a steak dinner and a big social. They'll auction off a lot of frozen embryos. Then on Saturdays, the big auction where they'll sure be selling a lot of young 2-year-old pairs and some show heifers and just a little bit of everything. We were also talking about the American Rancher earlier with Pam. And Star Lake's a big sponsor in that show, and you sure see them on there on a regular basis throughout the year. I know that we just produced a 3-minute piece for them for the American Rancher that's about to air, so let's go ahead and give our audience a quick look at that.
Nearly 10 years ago, my son Randy and I decided that we would like to get into the Hereford business. We felt that it was the exciting breed that would have some tremendous opportunities for our family. And it was our objective to take the Hereford breed to the next level by providing the outstanding Star Lake team the resources that they needed to produce the type of cattle that the industry seemed to want.
We work very hard to do our part in breeding the best Hereford cattle that we possibly can. You know, we have a tremendous team that allows us to service those customers' needs, and any member of the team is only a phone call away.
Hello, Star Lake. This is Max. How can I help you?
The seed stock source sale will include 170 lots and 157 live animals, all identified with the Star Lake brand.
We have one of the neatest and I think probably the best sets of young mothers that we've ever had to sell. 2-year-olds and first calf heifers. There are a number of 3-year-olds, but these first calf heifers are really special. There's 15 of these girls that could go out on and become the great donors and take this ranch on to the next level.
The Star Lake Seed Stock Source Sale will be held at the ranch in Skytook, just north of Tulsa, on Friday and Saturday, May 18th and 19th. The activities start on Friday with cattle viewing all day. The revamped interactive Star Lake University at noon, the Junior Heifer Futurity Show in the afternoon, and the festive pre-sale party Friday evening. 148 frozen embryos will sell Friday at the pre-sale party. Another 86 embryos will sell in 24 lots the next day. The main event will be the Seed Stock Source Sale starting at noon on Saturday, May 19th.
Entire families come each year. It has turned out to be a tremendous success and one that we're extremely proud of to have been able to facilitate and have fellow breeders and commercial breeders alike enjoy.
Star Lake Cattle Ranch is using every tool available to produce Herefords that will make a sincere contribution to the industry and its future. They balance technology and tools with common sense facts in their selection process. Their branded Herefords represent the combination of the latest documentation and visual selection to make an individual that will perform and contribute to your future and the Hereford breed. That is why they believe you should follow the brand to the Star Lake branded Hereford.
Jason, like we've said so much on the program, Star Lake Cattle Ranch is truly an icon to the Hereford business. You can see by the short 3-minute piece that we just aired that they are no one new, and they certainly know what they're doing, like Pam said earlier. Anything from their juniors all the way up to their scholarships. This is a truly first-class operation.
It definitely is, and it's just going to be such a great sale. Their theme this year is they're selling branded beauties. So I guess we can go ahead and I'll give a quick preview of some of them.
Great, and now here is a select preview of what will be offered on sale day at Star Lake Cattle Ranch.
Here we have one of our yearling heifers we're going to be featuring in the sale. She's a full sister to the great Kessie cow. A female that was, her full sister was Denver champion female and produced Denver Supreme champion female and a number of other great ones here on the ranch. This is really a great opportunity to own a full sister of Kessie. Here we have a full sister to Bright Future. He's the main herd sire on the ranch. He's also the sire to Shock and Awe, who was two-time Denver champion and Supreme champion. This is really a powerful female. A January yearling that we're going to be offering in this May Seed Stock Source branded beauty sale. This February yearling heifer is sired by Online. Her mother is a really great 19D daughter that's out of a Thunder, one of the big powerful donor cows in our donor program. This is a really stylish female with a lot of middle, a lot of substance, a lot of natural thickness. This is a small group of the featured yearling heifers that we have in the sale. There's a number of them that are sired by Online. All of them have really great cows behind them.
Join Superior Livestock on Friday, June 22nd at noon Central for our Superior Dairy Auction, featuring dairy replacement heifers and springers on RFD TV. Do you have dairy cattle that you'd like to sell? Or are you in the market to buy? Contact Superior Livestock today at 800-422-2117 or learn more about our upcoming auctions at superiorlivestock.com and market your cattle the Superior way. Join Superior Livestock Auction all summer long at our biggest cattle auctions of the year. Mark your calendars now. June 7th and 8th will be in Council Bluffs, Iowa for our Corn Belt Classic, followed by the largest family reunion in the cattle business, Week in the Rockies in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, June 25th through the 29th. Let's not forget about our good friends in our western region as we take over the town of Winnemucca, Nevada for a full week of fun July 23rd through the 27th. How about taking a trip to the Bighorn Mountains in beautiful Wyoming? Superior Livestock will be having our annual Bighorn Classic in Sheridan, Wyoming, August 13th through the 17th. Lastly, our Labor Day auction will wind up the summer season from Denver, Colorado, September 5th through the 7th. For more information, log on to superiorlivestock.com, and we'll see you this summer. Well, welcome back, folks. I do have to say, Jason, what a great show we had on today. Whether it was from visiting with Pam Minnick to Kids on the Ranch DVD, and even previewing we did, and even previewing Star Lake Cattle Ranch and their auction that's coming up Saturday, May 19th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a good episode. I felt like for this week. It's so neat having Pam on here. And I didn't realize she grew up in Las Vegas.
I know.
I did not realize she didn't grow up on a ranch either. But, she obviously was very involved in 4-H from listening to her talk. And she got horses at an early age. I think she said 9 years old. But she's just got such a long list of accomplishments. And then she talked about being on 14 committees. And that still blows my mind. I don't even know how she has time to do all that in addition to doing the American Rancher. And we talked about, she's the marketing director of Billy Bob's, which she did make me download the Billy Bob's app for my iPhone.
That's right. That is new and it's free, and it can keep you all up to date on the concerts that will be at Billy Bob's. But what is so neat about Pam, and since I've moved here to Fort Worth, I've really been able to see another side of her. Is we all know her as this iconic cowgirl from all of her accolades in the sport of rodeo and broadcasting and the American Rancher. But the committees that she sits on here for the city of Fort Worth, it's not just being president of the Fort Worth herd and a lot of things that go on down here in the stockyards, but also she sits on the board for the Convention Center and Visitors Bureau in the city, and so many other committees. She was on the committee bringing the Super Bowl here. She's very close with our past mayor, Mayor Moncrief, and his wife Rosie. Dear friends with Nolan and Ruth Ryan. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. So when you think of her as just a rough and tough cowgirl, that is her, and she will have cowboy boots on in her meetings, but the committees that she sits on are truly very well versed and throughout the entire city.
Mm-hmm. Of course, she sounds like she's your idol.
Yeah, definitely a mentor of mine, and so many for young girls my age, and especially going through the Rodeo Queen contest that I did. She truly is like the Oprah of our world, and she is such a beautiful person on the inside and out. But switching gears about Kids on the Ranch, that DVD, really awesome, and it was really captivating, a short 10-minute piece, but yet really inspiring to so many children that don't have the opportunity to grow up on the ranch. So if you are a teacher at home, or you just want to use it for information for your young children, you can certainly do so by going to kerncountywomen.org to order the DVD, or you can call us here at the Superior Studio at 800-431-4452, and we can get you in touch with the right people.
Well,
but
you do sound like their marketing director, so if you do call Superior, do
yeah,
ask
you
for
can
Katie.
you can ask for Katie.
She'll get you set up.
But I'm so proud to say that I know the Gridesdales family, the 3 kids that you did see in there, and then their other 3 friends that are from surrounding ranches. But like you and I did visit about growing up on a ranch, what a neat experience that is, and I know I wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's right. Me either. Me either. So.
I know you're going to get ready to pack your suitcase to head to Star Lake here
right.
before you know it.
And of course, we recapped on the show and saw some cattle coming up in this sale. But it's Saturday, May 19th. A lot of people get there on Friday, May 18th for the festivities and the dinner and
party.
The embryo auction. But that's right, basically the party. But it's such a great event in the Hereford industry.
Yeah, and I know that I have told a lot of folks this at home, but you're actually married to Randy Blynn's daughter, Jackie. And not only is it Star Lake Cattle Ranch that have wonderful Hereford cattle, but the Barber Ranch has equally as great cattle.
It's been so long since you brought this up. I knew that was coming at some point.
Really, you all have competed against one another since you were young, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. They honestly raise some of the absolute top Hereford cattle in the industry, and I can also say, and I'm proud to say, my family also raises some of the absolute top cattle.
Will we ever see Barber Genetics and Star Lake Genetics come together? Not to put you on the spot. I know Dale's watching. Your dad's watching.
You're getting a little bit ahead of yourself today, Katie.
All right. Well, we want to thank all of you so much for joining us. Did I put you on the spot a little bit?
A little bit. Paybacks. Be good.
All right. Well, we'll see you right back here this time next week. Thanks so much for tuning in. We really do appreciate it.